Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be covering an absolute film for the ages today. And interestingly enough, the producer thought that this movie was a disaster. Too much slow motion, too many bullets, heroes who somehow never get hit. He'd already tried to get the director fired off of The Last Picture. And the film they were fighting over went on to rewrite the rulebook for action cinema across the entire planet. This is The Killer, and this is the story of a man who refused to put the guns down. So let's set the scene, shall we? By 1989, John Woo and Chow Yun-Fat had already lit a fuse with A Better Tomorrow, the film that turned a former soap opera actor into the coolest man in Asia and minted the whole genre the West would come to call heroic bloodshed. Picture the recipe. The honour code of the old swordsman films, dragged out of ancient China and into neon-soaked, gun-toting modernity. Brotherhood, sacrifice, slow motion, and a body count that would make an action star blush. That's the soil The Killer grew in. But here's the drama behind the camera, and it's a pretty good one. After A Better Tomorrow 2, producer Choi Hark, a giant of the industry in his own right, reportedly felt Woo had butchered the edit, and the partnership turned poisonous. By some accounts, Choi wanted Woo fired. So when Woo set out to make The Killer, the money got complicated, and he had to lean on financing tied to his two stars, Chow Yun-Fat and Danny Lee, just to get this made. Hold on to that, because a director with his back against the wall, fighting for every creative choice, is exactly the pressure that forged this diamond. And Woo wasn't building from scratch. He described The Killer as a love letter to French director Jean-Pierre Melville. Think the cold, lonely hitman of Le Samouraï with a dose of Scorsese mean streets in his DNA. He took those influences, ran them through the Hong Kong action machine, and produced something that felt brand new. So, what could possibly go wrong, right? Well, we open in a dimly lit nightclub, where a singer named Jenny, played by Sally Ye, performs while a beautiful, melancholy man watches from the shadows. That's Ah Jong, played by Chow Yun-Fat, a triad assassin, elegant as a tailored suit, who wants out of the killing life. He takes one final contract. But the hit goes loud, and in the chaos, a muzzle flash catches Jenny square in the eyes. He's just blinded the only innocent thing in his world. Can you imagine the guilt? And here's the engine of the whole film. Jenny's sight is failing, and only an expensive operation can save it. So, our retiring killer agrees to take one more job to pay for her surgery. The oldest, most beautiful trap in the genre. Now, what he doesn't know is that a dogged, slightly unhinged cop named Inspector Lee, played by Danny Lee, has him in his sights. Two men at opposite ends of the law circling each other. And then Woo does the thing that makes this film sing. The hunter and the hunted slowly realise they're the same man wearing different jackets, both bound by a code of honour the world around them has abandoned. And there's now a legendary scene where the two of them, guns drawn in Jenny's apartment, pretend to be old friends to keep her in the dark, pointing pistols at each other while smiling like brothers. It's absurd, it's operatic, and it absolutely works. The betrayal comes, as it must. Ah Jong's own handler, Sydney, played by Paul Chu Kong, and well, he's the secret heartbreak of this movie. It's squeezed by the triad bosses and refuses to pay Ah Jong his due. Sydney's arc is the film's quiet tragedy. A man who chooses friendship over survival was far too late. It all detonates in the finale. A church, candles, and a hailstorm of bullets, with those white doves Woo loves bursting into the air in slow motion. Ah Jong and Lee make their last stand together, and here's where Woo refuses to flinch. There's no clean victory. Ah Jong is shot in the eyes, blinded just as Jenny was, and dies crawling toward her, never reaching her. The triad boss begs the arriving police for arrest, and Lee, incandescent with rage at a justice system that would protect this man, guns him down anyway, and is hauled off in cuffs. Doves scatter, roll the credits, nobody wins, and it's perfect. So here's my honest take, and you know the rule by now, every rose has its thorns, and The Killer is one of the most influential action films ever made, and I do not say that lightly, but it is also gloriously, shamelessly over the top, and whether you fall in love depends entirely on how much melodrama you can swallow. So let's talk about these thorns first, shall we? The sentimentality is laid on with a trowel. The music swells when it should whisper. The good guys are good and the bad guys are bad, painted in bold strokes with very little grey in between. And the criticism that's followed this film for, 35 years, Jenny, the blind singer, is less a character than a beautifully lit plot device, there to give the men something to feel. Even Wu's own producer thought there was too much slow motion and too many impossibly unscathed heroes. So if you need your thrillers grounded and subtle, this will feel manipulative. But here's why none of that sinks it. Wu's flaws and Wu's genius are the same trait, a complete refusal to hold back. The maximalism is the point. The first act and the final church shootout are flat out some of the finest action filmmaking ever committed to celluloid. Not realistic, but choreographed like a violent ballet, edited with a rhythm most directors can only dream of. It won Best Director and Best Editing at the Hong Kong Film Awards, and it made Chow Yun-Fat an international icon. A man who could break your heart with a single look between gunshots. And here's the real-world payoff to everything I teased. The chaotic shoot reportedly ran around 92 days, and it drew blood for real. Sally Ye is said to have caught shrapnel in her leg, and Chow Yun-Fat reportedly took a squib blast to the eye. They bled to make a film about a man who bleeds. And since release, its influence has been almost impossible to overstate. You can draw a straight line from this church to the gun fu of John Wick. It became a Criterion Collection touchstone in the West. And the ultimate tribute? Well, in 2024, John Woo himself remade it. He relocated to Paris with a female assassin, a direct nod to that Melville influence, after Hollywood spent decades failing to do it. Well, the reviews were lukewarm and the lesson was clear. Even the master couldn't recapture the lightning he caught in 1989. So some diamonds are only formed under one exact kind of pressure. So it's time for that rating, and we'll go through those 4 categories as we always do. So, action and choreography, flawless Intercept, top rating. The church finale is a genre summit. This is the gold standard, and everything since has been measured against it. Story and characters? Connected. The Ah-Jong Lee Sydney triangle is genuinely moving, but the black and white morality and the thinly written Jenny piece keep it from a higher tier. Star power and performance? Flawless Intercept. This is the film that made Chow Yun-Fat a legend. Danny Lee matches him, and Paul Chukong quietly breaks your heart. Legacy and rewatchability? Again, flawless Intercept. Few action films have reshaped the genre this completely on 2 continents over 3 decades. And the overall verdict? Well, The Killer is a flawless Intercept. And no, that's not a strict average. The melodrama keeps the story, honest and at a connected level, but a holistic verdict asks what a film is, not just what it scores. And what this is a film whose so-called flaws are inseparable from its greatness. A perfect storm of style, emotion, and influence that the medium had never seen before and rarely since. This success isn't a bug, it's the whole soul of the thing. So, what did you think of The Killer? Do you think it reached the flawless Intercept rating level? Or not quite for you? Cheers, and here's to the next one.